Welcome to Spectrum News at 4, coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State Capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Tinubu hails Nigerian global English champions. Federal government gets $25.35 million Kuwait loan to tackle Kaduna out-of-school crisis. Plus, Hiroshima marks 80 years since atomic bombing. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good afternoon. We're glad to have you join us on the news at this hour. We begin the news from the national scene, where President Bola Tinubu has congratulated 3 Nigerian students for emerging world champions at the 2025 Teen Eagle Global Finals held in London, United Kingdom. Tinubu, in a statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, today, praised the trio for their exceptional achievements, describing them as shining examples of Nigeria's future promise. The students, Nafisa Abdullahi Aminu, 17, Rukaya Muhammad Fema, 15, and Hadiza Kashim Kali, represented Nigeria at the international competition, where they outperformed thousands of contestants from 69 countries. Nafisa was named overall best in English language. Rukaya emerged overall best in debate, while Hadiza clinched the Outstanding Talent Award gold medal. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has paid glowing tribute to the late Doyinshola Hamidat Abiola, describing her as a woman of integrity and excellence, who dedicated her life to the public good and the advancement of democratic governance in Nigeria. In a heartfelt statement today, President Tinubu honored Abiola's trailblazing role in Nigerian journalism and her courageous contributions to democratic struggles, particularly during the June 12, 1993 election crisis. He also described her as a woman who embodied integrity, tenacity, hard work, commitment to excellence, and dedication to public good and democratic good governance. Meanwhile, Abiola, 82, passed away early Wednesday, marking the end of a storied career that spanned decades in media, public advocacy, and political activism. In a related development, President Bola Tinubu has directed the expedited rollout of the Free Healthcare Access Initiative for low-income retirees under the Contributory Pension Scheme, describing it as a critical component of social protection and dignity in retirement. This was disclosed in a press statement today signed by the Special Advisor to the President, Bayo Onanuga. Onanuga said the President gave the directive after receiving a briefing from the Director General of the National Pension Commission, Omolola Olaworara. Tinubu also called for the prompt implementation of long overdue pension increases and a minimum pension guarantee, which would provide a safety net for the most vulnerable pensioners under the CPS. In a separate development, the federal government has vowed to revitalize the commercial production of oil palm and cocoa in Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he declared open the 7th edition of the expanded National Clinic of the Micro, Small and Medium Scale Enterprises (MSMEs) in Nigeria. Shettima, who emphasized the relevance of such enterprises to the growth and development of the nation's economy, promised that the federal government would not relent in its efforts to support the MSMEs. The vice president disclosed that 65 MSMEs from Ondo State have accessed funding from the federal government's 75 billion naira intervention fund, stressing that the Sunshine State is critical to the socio-economic development of the country. In this next report, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has donated 1 billion naira, 2,000 bags of rice, clothes, shoes, and other relief materials to victims of natural disasters and insecurity across Niger State. The donation, which the First Lady met through her Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, was presented to victims of floods, bandit attacks, boat mishaps, and fire outbreaks across the state. Oluremi met the donation at the Government House in Mina, where she was received by Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago and members of the State Executive Council ESCO. The First Lady said the donation was a part of RHI's commitment to restoring dignity and hope to displaced Nigerians. She directed that the 1 billion naira cash be used to provide accommodation and major essentials to enable the displaced families get back on their feet, earn a good living, and have a better life. Moving away from that, the federal government has secured a $25.35 million concessionary loan from the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development to support a major initiative aimed at reducing the number of out-of-school children in Kaduna State. The facility, signed on behalf of the Kaduna State government, forms part of a broader $62.8 million blended financing package with international development partners designed to expand access to quality and inclusive education in one of the country's most affected regions. In a statement issued by the Director of Information and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Finance, Mohammed Manga, the loan is expected to finance the Reaching Out of School Children program, a large-scale intervention targeting vulnerable populations, including girls, children with disabilities, and internally displaced persons. Now to politics, where members of the Julius Abure-led group of the Labour Party LP today protested at the national headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC in Abuja against the omission of its candidates' names for the upcoming elections. The protesters demonstrated against INEC's decision not to publish the names of LP candidates submitted by the Abure group for the Federal Capital Territory FCT Area Council elections and some upcoming National Assembly by-elections. Chanting slogans and waving placards with different inscriptions, the protesters marched around the INEC premises under the watch of security operatives. Some of the placards read, "INEC should respect the rule of law. Supreme Court judgment favors Julius Abure. Caretaker Committee is not a political party. Stop killing democracy in Nigeria." And INEC should not kill the greatest opposition party in Nigeria. We move now to education, where the president of the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS, Yomi Otubela, has criticized the conduct of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination WASE at night time, describing it as unacceptable and detrimental to performance. Otubela stated, while reacting to the 2025 WASE results released by the West African Examination Council WAEC on Monday, showing a sharp decline in performance. He cited reports of students taking exams with candlelight and torchlight in some states, noting that such conditions undermine academic outcomes. Meanwhile, the NAB's president commended students who managed to perform despite the harsh conditions, attributing the significant dip in the pass rate to systemic issues with the country's education sector. In this next report, the Kano State Commissioner for Transportation, Ibrahim Namadi, has resigned following a controversial role in standing surety for an alleged drug baron, Suleiman Dawawu. Namadi's resignation came just hours after Governor Abba Yusuf received the official report from a high-level investigative committee probing Namadi's involvement in the case. Speaking through a statement made available by the governor's spokesperson, Sunusi Bature Dawakintofa, the embattled commissioner said his resignation was in the overriding public interest, citing the need to protect the integrity of the administration. Namadi stated that as a member of an administration that has consistently championed the fight against the sale and consumption of illicit drugs, it behoves him to take this step, painful as it may be. Meanwhile, Namadi expressed gratitude to Governor Yusuf for the opportunity to serve, pledging continued loyalty to the principles of transparency and good governance. We move now to Africa, where Sudan has accused the United Arab Emirates of sending Colombian mercenaries to fight alongside the paramilitary rapid support forces against the military in the country's civil war. The Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the Sudanese government has irrefutable evidence confirming mercenaries from Colombia and some neighboring African countries were sponsored and financed by Emirati authorities. The UAE's Foreign Affairs Ministry said the government categorically rejects the allegations and denied involvement in the war by backing armed groups. Recall that Sudan has long accused the UAE of being involved in the war by supplying the RSF with weapons, but the Gulf country has denied that claim. On the foreign scene, a meeting between U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Russia's Vladimir Putin is underway at the Kremlin. Witkoff arrived in Moscow today as Donald Trump's deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine looms. The U.S. president had said that Russia could face hefty sanctions or see secondary sanctions imposed against all those who trade with it if it does not take steps to end the horrible war with Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that Russia would only make serious moves towards it began to run out of money. He welcomed the threat of tougher U.S. sanctions and tariffs on nations buying Russian oil. While still on the foreign scene, a silent prayer was held in Japan today as it marked 80 years since the United States dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba attended the ceremony today, along with officials from around the world and the city's mayor Kazumi Matsue. World War II ended with Japan's surrender after the dropping of the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bombs killed more than 200,000 people, some from the immediate blast and others from radiation sickness and burns. The legacy of the weapons continues to haunt survivors today. Still to come in the news. Naomi Osaka cruises past Vitolina to reach WTA Canadian Open semis. Stay tuned for details of these and more in a jiffy. Many thanks for sticking with us. Now we conclude our news stories. On our business news, the federal government has reiterated its dedication to enhancing trade and investment ties with the United States as part of its broader strategy to drive economic growth and development. The commitment was made during a meeting between the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, and the United States Consul General to Nigeria, Rick Swart, in Abuja. According to a statement issued by the ministry's Director of Information and Public Relations, Mohammed Manga, the meeting was also attended by the ministry's Permanent Secretary, Lydia Jafia. Representing the minister, Jafia highlighted the long-standing and strategic bilateral relationship between Nigeria and the United States. Still in business, the Federal Executive Council has approved 712 billion naira for the renovation of the old terminal at Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, under the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development. Amidst outcry from Nigerians and continuous explanations from the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has waded into the conversation, explaining how the contentious 712 billion naira redevelopment plan for Muritala Mohammed International Airport will be executed. According to FAN, the overhaul is designed to elevate Nigeria's premier gateway to world-class standards and will be executed in 6 strategic phases. FAN further explained that the ambitious upgrade will transform MMIA into a state-of-the-art aviation hub, enhance passenger experience, and establish the facility as a top contender among leading airports in West Africa. We move over to health, where the Kaduna State Primary Health Care Board has announced plans to inaugurate a Kaduna to begin monkeypox vaccination in affected LG's vaccination campaign in selected local government areas affected by the outbreak. Health educator at the SPHCB, Isa Yasha'au, said this today during a stakeholders engagement meeting on the introduction of the monkeypox vaccine in Kaduna. Yasha'au stated that the board was working proactively to prevent the spread of the disease and ensure the health and safety of Kaduna residents. He noted that several LGAs in the state had recorded a significant number of monkeypox cases. Still in health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says Nigeria has recorded 155 deaths from Lassa fever from January 1 to July 20, 2025. It said the case fatality rate now stands at 18.9% higher than the 17.1% recorded in 2024. The NCDC noted that as of epidemiological week 29, Nigeria reported a total of 6,640 suspected cases and 822 confirmed cases across 21 states and 105 local government areas. Now to sport, where Lyon have signed midfielder Tyler Morton from Liverpool for £15 million. Wirral-born Morton joined Liverpool's academy aged 7 and was handed his senior debut in 2021. The 22-year-old struggled to force his way into the first team regularly, making 14 appearances across all competitions, and spent time on loan in the championship with Hull and Blackburn. He helped England's under-21 side win the European Championship earlier this summer. Still in sport, 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka advanced to the semi-finals of the WTA Canadian Open with a comprehensive 6-2, 6-2 triumph over 10th seed Elena Vitolina. Osaka chasing her first WTA Tour level title since the 2021 Australian Open needed only 68 minutes to dispatch the Ukraine star and book a semi-final with Danish 16th seed Clara Towson, who stunned reigning Australian Open champion Madison Keys 6-1, 6-4. However, Towson dedicated her victory to her late grandfather, who died on Sunday as the Dane was dispatching Polish second seed Iga Swiatek, who won her 6th Grand Slam title last month at Wimbledon. On our entertainment news, popular social media critic Very Dark Man has reacted to actress Iyabo Ojo's petition against the Nigeria Police and Commissioner of Police Uche. Reports say Iyabo Ojo, in a viral petition submitted to the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, accused the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Nigeria Police Force National Cyber Crime Center NPF NCCC CP Ifeanyi Uche of interrogating her in the presence of Very Dark Man, a civilian who is also a defendant in another case where she is a witness. In response, Very Dark Man noted that the petition would not achieve anything meaningful. Recall that the actress a few weeks ago honored a police invitation after calling out Naira Marley and his associate Sam Larry over the alleged involvement in singer Mohbad's death. The actress made the call after a video of the duo allegedly bullying the late singer surfaced online following his death. And that's all we have for you at this time. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Ofonono Joseph. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Enjoy the rest of your day.